If by some chance, some stroke of luck, or some act of God, you have stumbled upon this broadcast, you are listening to The Chivalry Chronicles with your host, Dr. DLH.
I'm a damn doctor.
David.
We're going to bring the tea.
refuse
To not drink during the podcast.
Yeah.
And me, Jaime.
They need to make podcast equipment a lot more expensive to get some of these clowns off the air.
Gather around as we discuss a modern, manly approach to chivalry. So I hope you're ready, because I know we are. So let's get into it.
Yeah, that's right, baby. That's how we do it. And we're back with the Chivalry Chronicles from the friendly confines of the Chivalry Studios, a.k.a. my office upstairs. Ain't that right, DLH?
I guess.
You don't know where you are, goddammit?
I don't know where I'm at.
Heck, my beer's hot too, and that's because it's in the koozie.
What the hell? Y'all drink
Kinda
some
warm.
hot-ass beer?
That's why it's hot, because it's in the koozie?
No, that's not why. It's because we took too long to start this podcast.
True. Yeah. These are the
So
these are
mine
the,
tastes really well.
these are the sacrifices we must make. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do next and had our beer ready because we can't open it until we start our intro.
I mean, we could and just open another one.
Like you did.
I'm just saying.
And then
There's
just open another one.
options. There's options.
Yes. But
So I'll let me do the quick intro right into this topic. There was a movie that came out back in '93, and it's called My Life, and it stars Michael Keaton and Nicole Kidman.
yeah.
The story's called My Life, and Michael Keaton gets kidney cancer or something like that, and so he's afraid. His wife is pregnant, and he's afraid that he's not going to be around for his son, and so he starts making a series of videos for his son, basically how to cook spaghetti, how to drive,
How to tie a tie.
how to tie a tie, how to shave.
shave.
Yeah. So which gets us to our topic, which is rites of passage. And we're going to do it because we're the Chivalry Chronicles. We're going to do it rites of passage for boys, the kind of their introduction into manhood and masculinity and that type of stuff. And so we have a list of several things that we kind of kicked around here, but David,
What?
can you pay attention? Can the class pay attention?
Paying attention is not a rite of passage.
What is your most memorable rite of passage? Something that your dad kind of walked you through?
Oh, son of a gun!
Damn. Way to put him on the spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to be asked that question.
Yeah.
Well,
Think about it quickly, because
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a rite of passage, right? Like, what do you remember your dad kind of going? Nothing.
No, well, I mean, I guess I described them as chores, but
Okay.
like you're going to mow the yard. Here's
Yeah.
what you got to do.
Did he teach you how to mow a lawn?
Very briefly, he taught me by throwing objects at me whenever I accidentally ran
Throwing
over
wrenches.
stuff.
If you can avoid a wrench, you can avoid.
or like
dodgeball.
go get me a crescent wrench, and I bring back pliers, and he's
Yeah.
like, "This is not a crescent wrench."
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a different one. Is knowing basic tool knowledge is going to be another one.
Yeah.
But when you had to mow the lawn, was it a manual?
Yeah, push mower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I think that's the difference now, is because now you have to teach kids more than.
Less.
No, I think more, because when we're talking about the push mower that was not gas or electric, like it was just a simple
little
mechanical
rotating
blade.
blade.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go through that.
I
Mine was
did.
a gas. Mine was a gas mower.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't think kids understand these days is starting that damn thing, pulling that cord. If you don't have, you got to put some
that thing.
strength into it, especially the older ones.
Yes.
you really had to pull that cord
That shit can get
hard and with some
frustrating.
technique.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you were there just blowing out your arm.
Well, because you got to put it on choke, and then you pull it, and then you put it on,
Right.
yeah.
And those are the things they need to learn. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
you could pull 200 times and it's still not.
It does nothing. So let me define it for you. I put you on the spot, and I don't apologize for it because you should have been ready. But
I would, because I'm drinking hot beer. That's why.
If you had just
So,
been paying
a
attention.
rite of passage is a ritual event or experience that marks or constitutes a major milestone or change in a person's life. And we're going to do it in a boy's life, so a man's life. A couple of things that we kicked around is basically learning how to drive. You know, did your dad teach you how to drive, or did you learn by yourself?
Some people's mothers teach them.
Yeah, first my
could happen
very
too.
first driving experience was my mom teaching me in some country roads, driving from Olton, Texas, back to Amarillo. So there's no cars, and she basically, I was falling asleep in the passenger side, and then she just said, "Hey, you want to try to drive?"
Yeah.
That was my first experience. But then my second experience was after my dad used to have a softball team, or he was in a softball league, and they would drink after the games.
Yeah.
And so my dad had been drinking, and he's like, "Here, you can drive." So I hop in his truck, which was different from my mom's car. Truck's a bit more spacious from the for the pedals and such. And I, of course, it's standard. I pop that thing and
Standard on the column or standard on the floor?
on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better at least.
It is better, but I didn't really know how to drive. That experience that I had in my mom's car was with a standard vehicle, but it was just once you get past first gear, then I was riding second and third gear the rest of the time for the most part, right? And keep the wheel straight. My dad's now making me reverse in the parking lot.
Press down and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyways, of course, there was a lot of jerks. And then finally, whenever I got moving, I couldn't coordinate my right foot to tap the brake. And so I backed up into a car, another car,
shit.
popped the back of the tail light.
Yeah.
And then I just remember my dad, "Get the fuck out of the car." And he hops in, and we take off.
Really?
So that was kind of scary. I can't. Why are you going to put me through that trauma again, man?
Yeah, well, this is therapy.
It is therapy. We're very high on therapy. Everyone, go get some therapy. So DLH, we'll go to you. Driver's license, driving a car. How did you learn? Was that a rite of passage for you in your life? It was a rite of passage. How did you get past it?
I started driving fairly early. It was my dad who was teaching me. It was in a standard car.
Yeah.
I always had an interest. Like I couldn't wait to learn how to drive.
Absolutely.
So that was something that I learned pretty early. And then driving in automatic car was like
Easy.
breeze.
Yeah.
So that stuff was easy. I actually learned how to drive a standard car much harder than that. It was somebody else's car. It was a friend of mine who had a car, and like I had to experience all the hard stuff. Like when you're driving, you're in like second, third gear, whatever. You're in just regular traffic, and then you go on an uphill, and you're on the brake. And you have to let go,
Downshift,
and then you don't know how to get back on a hill, get back into first gear. And then I remember specifically being on a hill and having to like tell the cars to go around me because I didn't want to roll back and hit a car. Like, just go around me. And then when no one was back there, then I had to figure it out. But figuring out that first gear, that was it. Once I got that done, everything else was easy. But yeah, I mean, that was all early. Like I learned
how early? Like, what are we talking about?
I think I want to say I learned how to drive an automatic car by the time I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
And then standard would have been, I think I was maybe 14, 15, something like that.
Yes.
And then, and then after that, like if you learn how to drive standard, you can drive anything.
Hell yeah. So my parents, my dad, my mom she never drove. Like, they tried to teach her how to drive when we were kids, right? And she just never got it. It was just never something that she could do. So she never drove. And my dad was just like this freaking, like, he drove everywhere. He, like, he was just, but he never taught me how to drive, right? I learned how to drive just from backing up the truck, backwards and forwards in the driveway when I was like 10 or 11. And then, so I want to say by the time I was like 12 and 13, I'd always volunteered to move the cars because at the end of the night, there was like 4 cars in the driveway and my dad would be the first one to have to leave the house. And so his car had to be at the end. So I'd be like, I'll move them. Y'all chill, like I got it.
Yeah.
And so my dad was always like, all right, whatever. Yeah. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he even like would go out there and check. That's how I learned.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And so driving a Standard, my cousin who lived with us for a long time, I say a long time, a couple of years, right? He had a Camaro IROC Z, like a 1978 freaking badass car. Had the Hearst shifter, just headers. That thing just like roared. And so as a kid, I'm like 12, 13. I love that. I love muscle cars, right? I would watch him as we would drive somewhere, shift and like press what pedals to press. And so I'm sitting there just watching him, because I wanted to learn how to drive this car. And so one day I grab his keys, right? They're all asleep. And it's Sunday morning, and I grab his keys, and I go to the car. And with a Standard, you either put the brake on or you put it in first gear, right? Like it has, so it doesn't roll, right?
Yeah.
And so I figured out finally how to turn it on, because you have to press the clutch, I believe, on that car, like, and so
because if you have it in a gear, yeah, you have to.
And so I turned it on, and that thing just like jumped, like, and it scared the crap out of me, right? Because it was just like, it was ready to go. And then after that, I would steal the keys from him, and I would go out, and then I would just like, just work all the gears, and then finally figured out how to drive one. But it was like one of those things that I learned by myself, and it was like trial and error. I was like, oh, that shit didn't work, it's like, because I didn't want to be like, hey, I want to, because they'd be like, don't touch my fucking car.
Yeah.
It's like, don't. But yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think, which is weird, because with my kids, like, I taught them how to drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daughter, we went through that, and then along with my son. So it's like, sometimes I kind of wonder with my dad, but he had 5 kids, so it's kind of one of those things like he taught the first 2, or maybe he had taught my oldest brother. I don't even know. But yeah, it's kind of weird how, kind of generations change.
Yeah, but I mean,
getting a little bit more involved.
When it comes to teaching, like my kids, they're not there yet. I keep asking my son right now. He's 14, and I keep asking him, like, when you think you'll be ready, and he's like, not right now.
So
right.
Something that I noticed with my kids, I mean, my daughter just turned 23, and she started driving probably when she was like 16, 17. They had no inclination to drive. I had to convince her, like, I was like, baby.
These are the benefits.
Yeah, here are the benefits. Like, you don't need anybody.
That's what it feels like right now, is having to convince him. Like,
it's
not
so
me.
crazy.
All you got to do is hint, and I'm there. Let's go.
Absolutely. Like, I wanted a car at 12, 13.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to drive. Like, you don't have to do anything. Like, I want to know. But with them, I had to, here's a pie chart of the pluses of owning your own car. It's like, and with Joaquin, the same thing. My son, I was like, he didn't drive until he was 18. Like, I
was gonna say, I didn't see Joaquin drive until a month ago.
Yeah, and he had
I'd never even seen him in a driver's seat.
He had nothing. Like, he had no kind of, like, I was like, son, do you want to learn how to drive? I mean, I said, I'm not gonna push you to it because insurance goes up.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I have to get you a car.
It costs more money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I said, if you don't want to, I was like, cool, done. We'll wait. But when he wanted to, it took a little bit of convincing. Like, son, do you want to wait around for a ride? It's like, do you want to go to the movies and, get picked up by your parents? Look, kind of like,
or leave when you want instead of being like, can we go?
Yeah. So I told my daughter the same thing. I was like, how you get really mad after the football game, and because he was on the dance team, and we're late by 10 minutes, and you're pissed off. None of that. After the game, you gotta go back to school, you get in your car, go home, or go eat, or go whatever the hell you want to do. I was like, but it's just, it's so different. I mean, Isaiah's at that age. Is he?
Well, yeah. I mean, we remember when we interviewed him.
Yeah.
week or so ago, and his first thing was when you asked him what kind of car did he want. I remember him saying, I guess something cheap because I'll probably wreck it or something. And like, what the hell? But I mean, like my son still will default to the back seat of the vehicle.
Huh.
I mean, he's been sitting within the last, I don't know, 6 months. He started going more sitting in the front seat.
Do you let him sit back? I'd be like, boy, you better get your ass up there.
I kind of started doing that, but he'll quickly just hop in the back seat. And
well, my son does it when he thinks he's being slick, right? Because when he sits in the front seat, he knows I'm going to tell him, get off your phone, pay attention to what direction we're going, all the things, so he knows the directional part of driving, which is also part of that rite of passage, right? So we do that, and there'll be some times where he gets in the back seat, and I'm like, why are you getting in the back seat? And he's like, no reason. I just want to ride back here. And then he gets on his phone. And I'm like, I know what you're doing.
He's like, what's up, baby?
Right? Like, I'm not stupid. Okay, fine.
Hey,
I'll let you get that this time. But
how about I pick you up? Or how about my dad pick you up and take you take us somewhere?
You know what? That's gonna be the motivation to get him to drive faster.
I think that's what it's going to boil down to. And I've been already thinking like, okay, Isaiah turned 15. He hasn't really surfaced it to me. Maybe he has to his mom, but in these next weeks, whenever he's with me, that's one of the things that I was planning to do with him is like, okay, let's go to a parking lot. Let's just do some basic stuff right now.
Basic stuff. I know something that I did with my son that I didn't do with my daughter, where we went to the local, there's an elementary school here, and there's a parking lot back there. And there's no cars, so I was like, all right, let's go. We're going 10 miles an hour. I said, go to 15, go to 20. I said, now slam the brake. And he's like, what? I was like, slam it. And he fucking slammed the brake, and we're in my truck, and that thing's like, and stuff starts flying. I was like, yeah, this is what it's like, dog. I was like, it's just 20 miles an hour, and you slam a brake. Like, you need to be ready for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want the first time you slam a brake is like in an accident, and
going 50.
Yeah, going 50. Yeah. I was like, this is the momentum. This is it's scary. I was like, and so he's like, man, this face was like, oh shit.
This is why I think I'm going to be the one to teach my kids. I don't know that I'm not sure if my wife has the
patience.
The patience. And
well, see, that's why my dad, even though I didn't, whenever it came to him teaching me, I don't necessarily recall him like really going through a lot of steps, because he would blow a gasket if you mess up, right? Mm-hmm. So even whenever I finally learned, we had went to get me a car.
Yeah.
I selected a car that was standard, knowing that for already a full year I was driving an automatic vehicle.
Yeah.
But I wanted this Mustang, so I chose it, and it was standard.
Yeah.
And so the way I ultimately learned how to really hone in on standard was for the 3 days that they were gonna tweak it and wash it and do some stuff to it before they sold it to us. My dad was like, here's the keys to the Escort, go to work. And that whole way, just by myself in this car, just with getting whiplash the whole way driving through town just to get to work.
And I think I spend a pretty good amount of time in that, because like when it comes to, we've talked about zipper merging and road rage and all, like all those things. And for me, I spend so many trips in the car shaking my head no, right? At some dumbass thing that somebody did in a car ahead of me, right? And then I always talk, when the kids are in the car, I talk about the importance of defensive driving, situational awareness, how to zipper merge, like all of these things. And so maybe that's part of why he doesn't want to learn yet, is because I'm like, I have high expectations here, right? Like when you learn to drive, you better do this right.
Yeah.
Because if you're one of these idiots on the street, I'm gonna be looking at you just like I do them, and you better not be one of these idiots. And maybe that's enough where he's like, I don't know if I want to learn.
Yeah. Well, along with driving, and getting your driver's license and all that, and you have just back to the rites of passage, you have just basic car maintenance, right? That you have to talk to your kids about, like just even how to check the pressure on your tire, maybe even how to
do that. No, just kidding.
I'll tell a quick story, right? So my daughter calls me. She's in college. She's coming home, right? And she calls me. She's like, Dad, one of my tires is low. And I said, okay, stop at the nearest gas station and just, whichever one your sensor says, fill it up with air. And then when you get here, we'll go check it out. She's like, okay. She's like, I stopped by. I filled it up for a long time, but it still says it's low. And I said, okay. Then just keep coming. I said, just keep coming. I said, oh, she was in San Marcos. I was like, you know what? There's a discount tire in San Marcos. Just drive there. You're about 20 minutes away. I said, drive there and just those tires are insured. And she's like, okay. She goes, but it's really, really low. I said, okay, if you need to, just stop by and air it again and make sure you do it right. She's like, okay. Because I did it. It still says it's low. I was like, shit, okay. And she's like, I'm pulling into discount tire. I said, okay. She pulls in a discount tire, and they check the tire, and it is low. It is low. But the other tire is like a freaking 60 PSI.
I knew it was coming.
I was like, what the hell? But it's because sometimes their sensors are off.
Well, you know what? I had a different thing enter my mind. I thought maybe she was just putting the plug.
Without taking the little valve cover off,
and then thinking she's putting air in the tire and it not really.
No. Well, I guess that's possible. I was thinking she was putting air in the wrong.
Yes, and so sometimes you have to look at that, right?
Yeah.
And so if you don't tell your kids that, because sometimes your sensors are off, they need to be reset.
Yeah, they can either be off, or even when you rotate your tires, they haven't yet detected that.
Yes,
right. So that's something else to learn.
So just basic maintenance for cars: how to change a tire, how to check the oil,
fluid levels.
Yeah, check oil, that type of stuff. I know that when my son got his car, I was like, you need to stay on top of this. And I hated the fact that I kind of turned into my dad, back to the Progressive commercial that I love, how to not turn into your parent.
Yeah.
But I did become that kid, or I did become my dad, to where it's like, did you check the oil? It's like,
why's your registration expired?
Your registration expired.
You realize it's been 3 days since that month passed.
Yeah, it's so and you know what I'm saying? I don't know why you feel bad about turning into that person, but you have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, but the realization when you get there, it's like whatever brings it out of you, and you're like, you go into that lecture, and you're like, God damn it, I just
no.
Yeah, no. You call your dad like, I'm sorry, dog. You were right.
Or you add it on top of there. Damn it, you made me become my dad. Right?
Yeah, so that's one of the things. Car maintenance. I know I tell my daughter this all the time. I'm like, have you changed the oil? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been 6 months since we gave you this car. I was like, have you even thought about it?
But all of those things, and it's harder now because the cars have all sorts of like covers over the entire engine and all that other stuff. But I think even knowing if you can get past that, even knowing how to do that, can I uninstall this cover so that I can change the spark plugs myself, right? Or is this something where like, what the hell's going on here? But I know it needs service, so let me go take it in, right?
Absolutely.
But these are all things that need to be recognized. And there's some things that I think, too, once you have a good understanding of tools, when you start to gauge for yourself, is this something that I can fix? Or if I screw this up, like that's my whole vehicle, so let me take it to some professional
absolutely
to get that stuff done. But that's another one now, is getting into tools, right? We did have that.
Yeah, like rites of passage, just basic knowledge of tools.
Which seems straightforward.
It does.
Is there anything difficult about teaching or knowing the basic?
I mean, I don't know. Let's ask David. David, what's a crescent wrench?
Yeah, I think you do have to know maybe through visuals and understand what the function of that tool is. I think that's
well, at least now
it is important.
Now this generation has the benefit of like Google.
Googling,
Yeah, and that, I mean, I know there's a YouTube video this guy, kind of similar to that movie that we alluded to at the beginning of the podcast, My Life. He created a video with all these things because he didn't have a father growing up. And he's like, I didn't have a father, so I had to learn all this stuff on my own. So I'm creating these videos for people that don't have fathers.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was great. Like I watched a bunch of them, but he goes through like, he's just like a dad, right? He's kind of showing you the tools. This is a Phillips screwdriver, this is a flathead, that type of stuff. And I think having a basic knowledge of tools, I know with my son, I had a vehicle that was older, and so I did my own. I changed the oil myself just because it was cheaper. You're paying $30 as opposed to like 60 to 70 or whatever it is. And I would have him come out there, and I was like, okay, son, let's get under here. And then we just kind of walk through it, and I say, here's what you need to look at and all this and that. And he would help me a lot with that type of stuff. And I think, not that I expect him to change his own oil, but if he needed to, he kind of could figure his way out.
I think the bigger lesson beyond that is just to ultimately be willing to venture in those things.
Right.
Not to be intimidated by them.
Right.
Yeah. Learn how to be handy.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the way we change oil today may not look the same way tomorrow.
No, absolutely. Like I think when I was growing
Especially
up,
if we got battery cars.
yeah,
now.
everybody changed their own oil. Like I think all my cousins, my whole family would do their own oil changes. They would do their own maintenance. They would, fill up all the levels and the windshield wipers and the freaking radiator and the and the freaking, what is it, the master cylinder. They like brakes. They would do their own brake service.
I learned how to do brakes, and the moment I did, the moment I learned how to change brakes, I was the brake expert at Rodriguez's house. So next thing you know, all 4 cars were getting up on the ramps, and here I was changing them by myself and getting blood all over my hand because I always managed to at least either cut or
That's part of the rite of passage. All of it. When you're using a knife, right? Like one of the
Yes.
EDC tools.
Yes.
Cutting yourself at some point is part
got
of the
it.
rite of passage.
You got to do it.
Injuring yourself with a tool in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully, it's not a big injury.
Yeah. Seeing David over there with like 4 fingers and shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, because sometimes you learn the hard way about the right and wrong way to hammer
Yes.
or drill when the drill goes off, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then, back to just your basics, right? Using the right tool for the right job, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I know that over the past, 26 years I've been here in San Antonio, I've accumulated a shitload of tools because, you're sitting there doing something, you're like, I don't have the correct tool. Let me make a trip to Home Depot and shit,
Right, yeah.
and you go get the next tool.
or are you the type that sees a tool, don't necessarily have a use for it, but
Oh, no, I'll buy it.
That's cool.
Done.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm the same way.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
I will find a reason to use that motherfucker.
I don't think so. I think for me, I have a tendency to use the tools I have on hand. And then when something comes up where I'm like, I don't have the tool for that, but let me see if I can figure out a way to use one of the tools I have to do that. And I pretty much have to fail at all of my ideas. And I'm like, all right, let me go get the damn tool.
No, but when you have the right tool, I mean, it's just it just makes everything easier.
It does. And you know what? Part of my motivation might just be I don't want to go all the way over there to Home Depot.
I
figure it out.
love Home Depot.
But I
I
don't
can
wanna
spend a whole
stop.
Saturday there.
That's why.
I hate Home Depot.
Because
I
then
love it.
I'll keep going. Oh, you know what? I could probably use this. I don't know when. I don't
buy
know why.
it.
But
Buy
I'm-
it every time.
Yeah.
So the other, like, back to the rites of passage. We get off topic, but it's all right. So we're going to go through the list that we kind of came up with. Driver's license, we talked about that. EDC, we kind of touched on that. Your first pocket knife. I know I gave my son a pocket knife.
Yeah, we should probably define EDC just because I know it's random, but it's everyday carry.
Everyday carry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he still carries one, which I kind of, when I see him kind of carry his pocket knife, I'm like, that's cool. Like,
But what's in the everyday carry though for you?
me personally, a shitload of stuff. For
Well,
Joaquin,
you because then you get
yeah.
it to
So
him.
with me, I have a multi tool. 90% of the time, I have a pocket knife. I have a what do you call it? A pen.
But you have a space pen.
I have a space pen, but I also have it's a tactical pen. I have
But you have a Fisher space pen.
I do have a Fisher space pen, but I also have a tactical pen.
Okay, because I use a tactical pen. I alternate between a tactical pen and then one of them that is also a Kubatang, I think is what it is. It's a self-defense weapon.
Yes. So this has a point to where, if you shove it on somebody, like it collects DNA.
yeah. But it meant to be like a window breaker or something like that.
Yeah, it does that. And then I always have chapstick. I have a handkerchief. And I think I gave y'all for Christmas, so y'all better be having that shit too.
Yeah, mine's in the truck. But I don't carry around
What, a handkerchief?
I don't carry around
I didn't
any
have
of
one.
that stuff.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, and you got cigars for Christmas.
I don't know.
Man,
you
you're
said
trash.
that.
Yeah. No, you did get cigars.
But I already have handkerchiefs.
No, this is a fucking badass handkerchief.
I have one though.
No. This is different.
Because it's from where? What makes it badass?
If you were to listen to our podcast for top 5 chivalry items, you would know.
Y'all talk too much. What is
So we'll move on. Of course, the chapstick. I always carry our fraternity coin.
Yeah.
That's always on my person.
Although sometimes I do replace that for our fraternity torch lighter. The Zippo.
Yeah. I don't carry the lighter on me, but it's in the truck.
I do
Always in the truck.
whenever I know I'm going to use it. If I'm going to go to, smoke a cigar or something like that,
Absolutely.
I'll take the coin out. I'll put the lighter in that pocket.
And so with my son, I gave him a multi-tool when he was probably like 6 or 7, but it was a multi-tool that it was like airplane safe. Like it didn't have sharp object. It had a file. It had it was a Leatherman multi-tool, but it was airplane safe. Like you could carry that thing everywhere. It had like a screwdriver in it or something like that.
You know what made me feel actually pretty good about this now that you're talking about multi-tools? Because I carry a multi-tool. I carry a multi-tool or I carry a pocket knife.
Yeah.
When we were at this last Legacy weekend, and it happened to be on Father's Day, and you were interviewing
kids,
about one of their favorite memories about their dads. And then if you remember his size, he said it was when I gave him his first pocket
I
knife.
do remember that. Yeah.
And I was like,
Well,
wow,
before
I didn't
that-
know he felt that way about it.
Before that, I said, and who's your dad? Oh, the best one here. I was like, man, get your ass up out of here with that bullshit, dog. It's like-
You see why I don't have. Anyway, so.
but yes, I do remember that.
I thought that was great. I didn't know that he held it in that regard. So it was nice to hear.
I loved hearing that. Interviewing your kids was probably one of the highlights of my experience of that day, just because when someone else interviews your kids, I think they open up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? They
Or they open up a different channel.
yeah. And those interviews to me were so freaking eye opening. Even Ray's kid was really like, a little bit more, he just one thing I did spring it up, kind of like I sprung it up on you on asking you questions, but when interviewing my son, it was different because I was like, well, I'm interviewing you, so it didn't have the same effect. So I didn't think about it. I didn't think it through. I should have had one of y'all interview him, so it wouldn't be awkward, or not awkward, but just like, Dad, I was like, how do I do this? It's like, no, bro, just freaking do it. But yeah, no, I remember that, and I thought that was cool as hell. Like having those things. I think my son always has a pocket knife now. He's 18 years old.
Yeah.
I know when we were with my wife's family, and they got super like, oh my God, Joaquin, well, why do you have a knife? It's like, you said to cut this box open. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's comfortable with it because he's used it for 4 or 5 years and stuff like that. So, but they his aunts were like, oh my God. It's like, don't open that. So it's just one of those things.
I think aside from, like wallet, phone, keys, those always go.
Yeah.
Handkerchief, I do carry one. Carry one all the time. I have a pen all the time. And then like I said, I switch it out. It's either a tactical one that has a, window breaker, or it's a self-defense weapon. And then let me see, what else is there? What else would there be?
Chapstick.
Well, I carry. I have a chapstick in my backpack, and I carry my backpack most of the time. So there is a chapstick in there. And then the multi-tool, I either carry. It depends on where I'm going. It's either the multi-tool or it's just a pocket knife. But there's always something.
Yeah, I've carried both for a long time. Here recently, because we went to a concert, and so I had to unpack all my shit. It's like you can't carry like a pocket knife. You can't carry. So I just took all my stuff out of my pockets and put it in a truck. And so now it's just in the truck, right? Because I was like, well, I was like, I'll just leave it there. So I haven't picked it back up. But for the most part, I always have a multi-tool, and I always have a pocket knife.
Yeah. Well, and even if I wind up with the pocket knife, I sometimes, depending on where I'm going, I also change out the pen that I carry.
Yeah.
To not be, like I have another, I guess you could call it tactical pen, but it is a level, a ruler, stylus, screwdriver, all of that, and then it's just in a single pin. So
what that tells me is that we need to give Isaiah a pocket knife.
Well, I don't carry any. I got my phone, a minimalist wallet that's attached to the phone, or that has a MagSafe attachment.
Yeah,
and then my keys to the truck and my AirPods.
See, AirPods is another one that I thought about carrying because, it's always nice to have. And it's in my gym bag now, because when I go to the gym, it sucks when I don't have them because
to me, or for me, beyond listening to music or whatever, like things like that. But when you're talking to somebody on the phone, it's superior. It's a better sound. You can walk along. They hear you better. You hear them better. So that's more so why I carry it.
Yeah. Well, but I've never done well with the, like the tiny earbuds.
Shoving it in your ear.
Well, they always, for me, like if I'm working out or doing anything, they always seem to fall out. So they just, I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you can change the tips on them, right?
It just doesn't. Yeah. For whatever reason, I've always had problems with them. So instead, I use aftershocks.
Oh.
Aftershocks, which are bone conduction.
Mm-hmm.
And because I get the sound, but they also don't block my ears, so I get to hear everything happening around me. And that's big for me. I don't know if that's a control issue or whatever.
I think for people, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, but especially since having kids, I'm like, nah, I gotta be able to hear everything. So I can't be fully immersed in sound. I have to be able to hear what's going on.
Yeah, I know. For me though, I've never really gotten into knives. I own some knives. I have them sitting around the house. I got one in my truck that Dan had gave me at one point, and I use them, but to carry one around, I'm the type, I don't like having a lot of stuff in my pockets, especially if I'm doing something like playing golf. I've been playing a lot of disc golf lately too, and I don't like to have stuff in my pocket. I just feel like something's weighing me down, and I don't want to.
Then get a carrier that goes on your belt.
No, then I look like some weirdo freaking. Well, I don't even want to say it, but
oh man,
I don't want to look like that. Like
you are a weirdo.
Yeah, to have a
too late.
Like the people that have the phone case that sticks out and it clips on. I'm not that kind of guy. No, not me. If mine didn't fit in the pocket, it wouldn't go in.
I do wish we'd go back to the smaller phone.
Yeah, I think I find, and then if there's ever a time, if something comes up, and probably not once, it would have to come up more than once. But if there's a situation where I'm like, oh man, I don't have that with me, then I would get whatever it is that I need to get in order to have what I need to have. But that just doesn't come up because I carry shit in my pockets all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it does suck sometimes because you carry. I carry all kinds of
bulky,
shit.
But over time, especially, I mean, it costs more money when you do it. But if you streamline the tools, right? There are some that they start making them smaller and more compact or whatever. But
or just get a fanny pack, man. Just get.
That's definitely not going to be me. I'm not.
They're called bando bags now.
Are they?
Yeah. If you were to listen to a top,
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not a fanny pack person. And as much
You
as
strike me as one though.
as much
he
as
does.
He's a
He
fanny
says-
pack guy.
No,
Well,
you-
I carry a backpack.
I know, and you
Everywhere?
you wear it as a belt.
Because
Everywhere, though. Everywhere?
Almost everywhere. I have a backpack. Almost everywhere.
that's crazy.
All right, Dora.
But you know what? I mean, like when we went to the center club, I didn't have a backpack, but I had all my things in my pockets, right? Like the
Yeah.
things that I'm going to carry. So it's not everywhere I go. But I think because I'm
Like
constantly
a random
transitioning-
Saturday, you and the kids go to freaking a restaurant to eat. You have a backpack with
No,
you?
I have all the things in my pockets.
Okay, cool.
I don't need all the
Okay.
extra stuff.
I
I
got
just
you.
carry my EDC things,
Yeah.
right? But they're like most days when I'm like going from work and then coming over here, I have my backpack. And I have extra things that are in there. So even though I carry a pocket knife or multi-tool or whatever, I have another pocket knife in my bag.
Yeah.
I have my chapstick in my bag. I
Yeah.
have all my beard stuff in my bag. I carry
You do your beard stuff?
beard, yeah, like so that I have more beard.
That's crazy.
Feminine products.
All of those things. All of those things. are in
Well,
my
okay,
bag.
which gets
Yeah.
us back to the list of rites of passage. Shaving. How did you learn how to shave? Like, did somebody teach you how to shave?
I
Like-
honestly can't remember. I don't believe anybody taught me how to shave.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I have errant beard lines, and then I have to be particular in how I shave that now.
Really?
Yeah, because no one taught me about shaving. I just
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Well, but you have a full beard, so it's a little
I
different.
do now, but it's not like but like when you get some people that have well manicured beards where their hair will not grow beyond the beard line, mine isn't like that. Mine will grow up here. So I have to particularly
Yeah.
shave it and shape it.
Why though? Just let it all grow out.
Nah, because then it would be because then up here at the top
Because it covers more of your face.
It would be more. It would be uneven.
Because you ugly motherfucker.
It just wouldn't look right.
So I say that because my son, when he got probably like 14 or 15, and not that he's able to grow a beard at this point, but he actually was like, can you show me how to shave? I was like, done, cool. So we bust out all the stuff, like that what is it called? That beard balm or whatever. Not the beard balm, but the stuff that you mix up and it gets all foamy and then,
Shaving cream?
No. Well, no, shaving cream. Shaving cream is one of them, but this is like
Why's everything gotta be fancy?
it's not fancy. It's not
Like a
fancy.
shaving
Take some
gel?
freaking. Just
No,
get
it's
some
not a
damn
shaving
soap.
gel.
Just get some
Shaving
soap.
lotion.
No, it's not shaving lotion.
You are talking about something that you mix with a brush in order for it to lather.
Yeah.
That's shaving cream.
Jaime's bougie. All that.
No, it's
I just use soap.
He got on
just-
his upper echelon.
Yeah, you just freaking rub soap on your
no,
face where
I
you're gonna
just-
shave and then shave.
I don't
it.
even use that. I use water. All I have to do is wet my cheek and then shave.
and nobody want to know about your cheeks, dog.
But then afterwards, I rub beard oil on it, and then it moisturizes.
Yeah. So anyway, you mix this stuff up, and then it becomes super lathery, and then you put that on your face, and then you shave.
That's shaving cream.
But shaving cream is different. Shaving cream comes in a can.
No,
This is
but
like
you can also self-lather.
Yes.
Yes, it's your base that you put in a bowl and you mix
turns
it
into
around
cream.
and it
So I
turns
guess it
into
is shaving cream. Yeah. So anyway, we did that.
That
And-
took longer than it needed to.
Because y'all motherfuckers.
Let's
so
go to the more, not the controversial one, but the more serious one that you got to have for rites of passage.
which is
The birds and bees.
the birds and the bees, right? Have y'all had to talk with your kids?
Yes.
Okay, you did.
No.
No, goddamn,
no,
my
not
motherfucker,
really.
like 18, dog. What the fuck?
Because I'm
Get on
going
it.
off of the way I was brought up.
Nah, don't do
We
that.
Just didn't
You
have
got
it.
to
We
get
just
on
didn't
it.
have it.
You got to get on it right
Don't
now.
do that.
We just didn't have it.
Don't do that.
You got to get on it right now.
So, I think with my son, well, we did it with my daughter too, right? But with my son, because that's more recent. Like we had to talk with him when he was probably like 15 or so, and then I was telling my brother last night. I was like, I had to recap that shit because he just went off to college. I was like, let's just recap the shit real
Yeah.
quick, Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Rule number one is like, don't get no one pregnant. He's like, don't do that shit. Like, and to my son's credit, he was like, Dad, that's not in the cards for me. I'm focused on what I need to do. But I was like, okay, cool. But like,
But we all have lapses.
Yeah, there's an easy way to lose focus, son.
I was like, you're about to go to college, and you're about to go to, like Texas A&M, where it's like a bunch of Sydney Sweeneys and Margot Robbies, as my brother says, are out there. Like they're all there. All you can tell me all you want.
Yes, I'm focused until you're not.
But when you get there, yes,
your focus is going to shift. But we like for my son, we have had this. He's 14 now. We started some of this conversation with him as soon as he showed any interest in girls.
Yes,
right. Because he was before, like when they're in the ew girls stage, like I don't know that.
Yeah, they're not showering and shit. You're like, bro, you need a shower.
Right, yeah, and then it's just more about how to treat people, right?
Yes.
This is how you treat people. This is how like all of that stuff, and shower so that you're not, putting everybody else.
You're not
off.
the stinky kid.
But now that he, shows an interest, then we started having the discussions with him. So this was like last year, right? 13,
Nice.
13. We started having this conversation with him. And at 14 right now, every time we get anywhere near here, he's like, all right, I'm out. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to sit right here and you're going to listen to it. And I'm like, this is the easy part, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as he turns, I'm assuming once he gets around maybe next year, 15 or whatever,
Yeah.
it's going to be more of like safe sex. How do you, like take precautions? How do you even put on a condom? Like
We did all that, yeah.
all the stuff that's going to have to be
You
in there.
did that, or your dad? You're talking about your kids.
My kid. No, my dad, that was not even talked about.
No, yeah,
that
my
was
parents
like,
avoided.
I've never discussed anything about that.
So
with my parents.
why did we put that as a rite of passage?
Because it is.
Well, I agree, but at the same time, it's kind of like
Well, because
most
just
of us.
because some people
most
didn't.
of us. Did you say no on yours too?
Yeah, they didn't. They don't. The thing is, they don't give you the birds and the bees talk, or to them, the birds and the bees talk is you better not get anybody pregnant, right? And they give you all the warnings and the potential ass whoopings that are coming at you.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you the how or the why. Or
Well, like the closest thing that I can recall was my dad saying, "You want to have insurance before you have a kid."
Insurance?
Insurance
Like,
and
what do you mean insurance? Like,
health insurance.
really?
Yeah,
really.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's
No, and there's a
Well,
real
that's
reason.
a weird
There's-
birds and bees talk.
Well,
right
no,
there.
there's a sad reason why. It's because my dad basically. So I should have an older brother, and he passed away when he was 2 days old, and my dad feels that the reason that he didn't live is because they didn't have money.
Yeah.
They didn't have money to
wow. I
to
just
go
lost my
beyond.
buzz. My buzz is gone.
I know.
But yeah, I mean,
Damn.
but that's the closest thing. I just remember, and it was we were driving somewhere, and he just ultimately said it almost out of the blue, just like
Yeah.
You want to have health insurance before you have kids.
My mom had something similar. Not that macabre, but my mom's thing was like, you need to be able to support yourself before you support someone else. And that means that.
Yeah.
Like, don't do
yeah,
that
and I
shit.
think that's kind of the gist of where
it's
my
the
dad
same,
was
but
getting.
goddamn. Like, now I'm questioning my life decisions and
Yeah.
shit.
Well, because I have or like my kids, there's a family member who had kids very young. And I think when, like my parents, my mom had us really young too, but
Yeah.
my kids now know someone directly, right, from a family that had kids really young, and then they see the limits that is placed
Absolutely. Yeah.
on her, right? And so when it comes to that, those are some of the things too, where it's like the motivator for, like, we're not just telling you this stuff because we're trying to give you, like, at no point in time are we doing this because we want to give you a hard time. We're trying to teach you how to, get through your life in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're going to have kids,
Well,
it should ideally be purposeful.
You shouldn't manufacture obstacles. And shit.
Right.
Like,
So anyway, we had to, talk about some of that stuff right now because he is showing that interest. And then of course, when that time comes, and I was like, you better get used to it now, because all the times we're putting on a condom and all that, like, that stuff's coming. It's in your future.
yeah. I know that when my son would have girlfriends and stuff out over at the house, and we would have that talk to them, because they would come up upstairs. We have a 2-story house, so they'd come upstairs, and we're like, okay, son, respect this house. It's like, don't be doing anything stupid. And then I know that here like 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, we weren't home. My wife and I were out, and Joaquin had come home and knew that we weren't home. And so he calls us. He's like, hey, when are you going to be here? And all this and that. I was like, well, we're about an hour away and stuff. He's like, okay. And then so we're like, what is he asking? And I was like, oh, shit. He's at home. And so we let the calls him. He's like, hey, respect our house. Yeah.
That's right.
And he's like, Mom, we're in the driveway. Like, I have not stepped foot in the house. He was
You
like,
reminded me, you guys got a door camera and stuff like that?
We got a door camera.
Because that's one thing that, back in the day, a lot of that stuff, I mean, you could keep it hidden, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Whereas today,
yeah,
there's
like,
always
no.
There's ways to track your kid.
Yeah, I know
who's coming
walked
through the
in
door.
yeah.
Yeah, they got to be pretty stealthy otherwise.
No, absolutely. And so they stayed in the driveway. It's like 4 p.m. in the driveway. I was like, you've been in the driveway for 30 minutes? Like, yeah. I was like, we didn't want to step in the house. I was like, we're trying to disrespect you out here.
So now that we've talked, that was the big one.
Yeah.
That was the big one. What are we missing that maybe doesn't need a whole lot of attention, but that would still be on the list of rites of passage?
So basic survival knowledge, maps, learn how to read a map, that type of stuff.
Well, driving, we talked a lot about driving, right? Well, but knowing how to get through driving using your sense of direction and how to read a paper map as opposed to always relying on your phone. Right. I think that's a very important part of knowing where you are, how to get where you're going.
Yeah.
Even when everything else is failing you.
Well, one of the things that Jaime brought it up in terms of when he was referencing the movie, but teaching them how to dress for the occasion.
Yes.
Right, that type of stuff. Yeah,
getting dressed. Yeah. I know that it was a big deal when we bought my son his first suit. That type of stuff, how to tie a tie.
Yeah, that's a big one. How to tie a tie.
I mean, my grandfather taught me how to tie a tie. I remember teaching Joaquin, and it's kind of, it is a big deal. And I don't think we're trying to minimize it, but I don't think we hype it up. We hype it up as much as we should. Like, this is, I mean, you need to wear a suit sometimes.
Yes,
and you need to
some
know
of
how
those
to
times, even if it's not comfortable to you, get your ass in a suit because the occasion requires it.
Absolutely. What's the other one? I know we talked about. Oh, we were talking about reading a map, right? And I had a really quick story. So my son went off to college this year. Like he left for college a couple of weeks ago, and we're parents. We have Apple phones, and so you can track your kid. Like, where he's going. We tracked his car. We track him. And I didn't really sit down with him and give him the route to College Station, right? I didn't say you take 35, you get off on 21. So anyway, I'm at work because he left on a Thursday, and so we're like, go up there and then we'll go up there Friday. So he drove up there by himself in his car. And I'm tracking him, right? I'm looking at my phone, and he's going up 35, just like he should. Is right by San Marcos. 21 is right there. He misses that exit, right? And he's continually going north. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to call him. He's probably stressed. He probably knows he missed his exit. I'm not going to call him. You know what I'm saying? And so he's going north. He's in Kyle. He passes Buddha. And I'm like, where the fuck is this kid going? So finally he hits the toll road in Austin, and then he hits a right. Then he starts heading towards College Station. But I was like, man, I don't want to be the helicopter parent. Like, he's got to learn.
Yeah,
shit like this is gonna happen. But then I was thinking about my experience. Like, I had a paper map, and I highlighted, you know what I'm saying, like my route.
Your route, yeah,
from Dallas to College Station, like 45 to Madisonville. Then you hang a right, and he's got his phone right there. Like, the phone is telling him, turn right, turn
They can
right.
even talk to you. Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember back in the day using an atlas. You could,
yes, a Mapsco, you know.
I remember you could go to the tourist bureau or the travel centers and get a map for free.
Yes,
I remember.
So there's the map that unfolds really big, and then I think I told this story before that, when I went to college, I had that big map, and then there was one that was laminated that folded up really well, that blew up the big cities, but
I had a really hopeful one. It was an atlas, I think, that covered all 50 states.
What the hell?
like knowing damn well I ain't gonna go to.
I travel with my globe with me.
What are you doing with a Hawaii map?
I'm not going to 49 of these states.
Shit. Okay, so the other one was, I think we talked about drinking socially.
Yeah,
Or the first drink.
Yeah, but
Or
not drinking is big. I don't know necessarily about the first drink, but I do think that covering drinking, maybe not to the same degree as birds and bees, but I think it's really important, right? Because drinking socially is something that can be done, but it can also be taken too far really quick.
Right.
And what do those signs look like when you should slow it down and stop?
So we go to College Station. We are moving my son in, and it's my daughter's birthday about the same time. So we all go to Northgate, which is the place to go to in College Station. There's all these bars. So we go to this bar, one of the oldest bars there. It was there when I was there, which was like fucking 30 years ago, the Chicken. And so we're there. And of course, my son is 18. And my wife is like, let's go get some shots. And my daughter's like, just get 4 shots, like whatever. And I'm sitting there going, so your brother's 18. Like, what the hell? I mean, I think somebody going to say something. My daughter looks at me and is like, who's going to say anything? She looks around and is like, nobody cares here. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, all right, fucking, let's go get some shots. So I think with my daughter, when she went off to college, I was like, you're going to start drinking. Like, we know you're going to do that. Let's do it here in a safe space.
In a controlled, safe environment.
Yeah, you're 18, 19, 20, that age. So Joaquin, I don't know if he's drank before. I assume that maybe he's dabbled. I don't know. He's very, he's into working out. So he knows that that's not good for his body and stuff like that. So, but I don't know what he's done. Like, I'm not all in this business. But that night, he took like 4 shots over the whole night. And
handled it well.
And he handled it well.
Yeah. He's drank before. There you go.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, So that's the first thing I thought. I was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. So it's just one of those things. Like, hey, you're getting at that age. Like, I need you to be okay with doing this, because I've told this story before. Like, I was 30 years old and I was still trying to hide my beer when my parents came into my house.
Yeah, I don't drink in front of my parents.
Yeah, and
they've never seen me
at
drink.
one point, I was like,
that I'm aware of.
I was like, this is my motherfucking house. Like, I'm 35 years old, got 2 kids. Like, you don't see me drink, goddamn. So
I do, but when I drink in front of them too, and my mom usually says like, "But you're driving," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not here to get drunk. I'm just having a drink." Like. Like that sort of stuff. But I think it's important you got to have conversations with the kids about alcohol.
Yeah.
And, how to be responsible with that. I think that definitely goes with part of it all.
Yeah.
But
time to round it out.
All right. So what would be our board approved if it's rites of passage?
You know what? I feel kind of compelled for anybody who is listening, because this is by no means an exhaustive list, right?
No.
I think that some of these things are certainly points that should be touched on with our boys, because that's what we're talking about, right? Kids in general, yes, but we're talking about boys in
primarily,
this one.
Yeah.
So yes, all of these, I think that these are all important points that should be touched on. But if there's anything that any listener has out there that you want to comment on, send that comment to us.
Absolutely.
About it. But whatever it is, maybe the board approved is to, as the father, consider your rites of passage.
Yeah.
What they should be, and go through them now if you haven't already started.
Absolutely. Create your own list as a father. If you have a son, create your own list and actually go through it. I mean, this stuff is by no means, the be all end all list, but I think we touched on most of the important things. So go through it and do it now. Like, I don't care how old your kid is. I mean, they need to know that
My kid's 6 months old.
Well, I mean, start when it's age appropriate. But,
Yeah.
But also, even if you don't at the moment have your kids, but you have a blood sibling who does. Right?
Absolutely.
One of your brothers has kids, or whatever it is. Find a way to maybe talk to your brother about that and get involved.
Yeah.
In any way you can.
Or even your brother-in-law.
Or brother-in-law. Yes. If they have kids, however it is, but get out there and create chivalrous men.
That's right.
There we go.
Board
I
approved.
can approve that.
Damn. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on your social media, and or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram and X. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.